Dear friends, hello and welcome to Ukraine. Next to a long-range bombing drone, this is a drone that can go, hold on, up to 750 kilometers away, carrying only 3.5 kilos of payload. But that's not its main purpose. It's mainly to attract Russian radars. And then if it makes it through all that, well, that's always a good thing. All right, let's get back to our topic. So the drone is a marvel of technology. Hold on, it weighs 4 kilograms when it's empty. To those 4 kilograms, we'll be able to add 9 liters of fuel. They're just plastic bottles, nothing simpler. With the tank here, the flow happens by gravity, so you have 3 tanks like this one. Here, underneath, you have the payload. You'll be able to put 3 kilograms, 3.5 kilograms of explosives. But above all, this drone, they're going to launch it when there are large salvos, and the goal is to saturate the Russian skies with these drones. They're simply going to add some kind of aluminum, and the aluminum, it's going to reflect echoes back to the radar. To the point that the Russians will fire S-300 type air defense missiles. What they see as significant, usually a Bayraktar type drone. Here, we're talking about a drone that costs 500 euros. The goal was simplicity, which is why everything is made from balsa wood. I'm not sure what this is, some kind of polystyrene. The engine, I'm not kidding, it's a manual lawn mower engine. You know those things we use in the fields to walk around? A small global positioning system receiver, a little power unit made in Ukraine, some balsa wood, and then a small catapult to get it up to speed. And some of these drones have been able to get close to Moscow. So now, they're suggesting that we don't launch it because there's a wall right in front of us. But basically, to start it up and operate the catapult. All right, now let's go see the guts of the beast. Guys, this is model aeronautics from the future, so they opened it. Hold on to the front, it's a battery. Apparently it's a very efficient Tesla battery, not expensive, easy to find. The controller, that's what will allow the control surfaces to move, etc. Let me show you a little bit. It's transparent. You can buy this at Leroy Merlin. Here you have the compass and you have the global positioning system, which means that if the global positioning system is jammed, it will still more or less keep going straight using the compass. At its current altitude, it won't hit the ground and will keep flying straight unless intercepted by a Russian missile. That's how it is. The objective here then is a small tank. Once again, here we see the flow happening by gravity, and right next to it, the spot for the explosive, up to 3.5 kilograms. So obviously, if we go less than 100 kilometers, for example, they can put in less fuel and more explosive. Here is the wing of CHAＩKA, a Ukrainian drone made from polystyrene that costs $500. This wing is about 2.2 to 2.5 meters. It must weigh barely 1 kilogram, but it's, you see, with slightly reinforced metal frames, simply glued together. There's nothing simpler. These drones, they send them in volleys of 15, 18, 20. The last time they fired them, so we're at the beginning of June, the last time they fired 19, 18 were shot down. The goal is for them to get through before the heavy drones carrying 40 to 50 kilograms of payload. They're the first and most visible. The Russians deplete their air defenses, S-300 Buk Panzer, because there are only 3 or 4 missiles on some of that equipment. Once the system is empty, and they've spent millions of dollars to intercept systems that cost 500 euros, well, that's when you have the real heavier vectors coming through. Still, of the 19 launched last time, 1 reached its target. Guys, I was invited to sign this drone and to write a little message for the Russians. Come on, this is the final message from France, with all our love. Choose peace, Russian friends, or tomorrow will be worse. You got the idea, it's cheap, it's effective. They produce them by the hundreds for almost nothing. The aim is to launch hundreds simultaneously to overwhelm enemy defenses. It's very smart, obviously, it's very clever. The Russians are trying to do the same thing on their side as well, and so are we. Maybe we should get ready for it. Because when facing hundreds of drones, we can't tell which are the priority, which have real targets, or which carry dozens of kilos of explosives. Or simply 3 kilos like that, you have to be able to intercept everything. That's also why electronic warfare and the development of electronic warfare are so important. It's crucial to protect ourselves against growing and multiplying threats. Because of the model aircraft here, recall what happened to the Russians at the Atake base in Syria in 2018 when they lost a Sukhoi 24 to simple drones made by Syrian rebels. At the time I was working at the Directorate of Civil Security in Crisis Management. I had put together a file specifically dedicated to the war. Drones made by terrorist and Islamist groups in Iraq and Syria. We haven't learned anything since then. The Russians have faced this since 2016, 2017 and still haven't learned. They're just beginning to develop this equipment, but as for us, we're still clearly not very far from zero. Ukrainians lead us in both system production and electronic warfare equipment. In any case, we're going to have to learn quickly, because with lawnmowers and 500 euro drones, we shouldn't be surprised if this comes to our own countries soon. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video. It was fun to see them. It's more worrying for us strategically in the long term, but in any case, they're still doing a good job and they're continuing to wear down the Russians with cheap missiles. Hope you enjoyed it. See you soon.